foul. That was absolutely ridiculous.
The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Up on down. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
I don't know. It's tough. Tom's up there, man. Beantown.
What's going on YouTube? It's boy Just Almeida here on YouTube and from Beantown Takes. Back again with an emergency episode of the Beantown Takes podcast. I am here on Discord with Mike and Ben. They don't have their cameras on, but they are here. Say what up, boys.
What up?
And, oh, wow. In terms of the Red Sox, we have an only Red Sox podcast right now. Things looked really great for the Red Sox. Like, even after the game I went to last night, I was saying, oh man, this team might be sweeping the Yankees. They won the series against the Yankees. They might sweep them. Hey, things are looking up again. Well, today they beat the Yankees. They did end up sweeping them. But it turned into a full 180 real quick. Things looked up, but then they went straight back down. You guys know what I'm talking about at this point in time. We are talking about the Rafael Devers trade to the San Francisco Giants for basically a bag of chips and a 2-liter soda coming back in return. That's basically how I'm going to word it. Because the two returns basically that they're getting for the major... It's only actually one, because already one's getting sent down to the minor leagues. But anyways, I still stand corrected with the return and everything else like that. But Rafael Devers has been traded to the San Francisco Giants for Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, and outfielding prospect James Tibbs. I've already said my piece. I've said my piece on the trade in the long rant that I did. That was about 20 minutes long. So I'm going to let Mike go and I'm going to let Ben go. They're going to get their thoughts out the way. One of them is a Red Sox fan. One of them is a Yankee fan. Obviously, you know who the Yankee fan is because we went to the game with him on Saturday night. So, who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
I'll let Ben have his piece. It says team.
Wow, very kind of you, Mike. There's what are they doing? What are they thinking? There's no rhyme or reason how this could work out. You traded your best hitter who just started. I mean, he's been the best DH in the MLB this entire year. That's no question. Terrible start to the year, but he's been absolutely locked in on the plate. Plate discipline has been the best it's ever been. Yeah, you can be like, oh, you know, you didn't want to move to first, blah, blah, blah. The Red Sox promised him third base for his entire career. Dominican players and foreign players, they pride themselves on honesty and integrity. And when you tell them they're going to get something and then you take it away from them, for an American player at that, Bregman, I mean, they're not going to be happy.
Microwave.
Listen, Ben was so bad, like he's so mad about this that he had to take a drive while he's doing this. Damn, that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, bro.
All right, where did you leave off?
Pretty much there's no, like, good to come out of this whatsoever. The players we got themselves already injured, one's already in the minors now. I don't even... If you were going to trade Rafael Devers, at least shop him to other teams to get the best fucking offer you can. Instead, they took the one offer that they got, and it was terrible. Pain.
You're up, Mike.
Well, I don't know if it's the only offer they got. I think it's also the fact that he's kind of proven that he's not really a team player, and I don't know if a lot of teams want to take a guy that's just going to come in there and, you know, kind of not do what's needed to win. Like, you know, when Bellinger got traded to the Yankees, first thing he said is, I will play wherever they need me to play. That's what a real leader and somebody who wants to win does. They put their ego aside and does what's best for the team. And that's, you know, not really what he's been doing. Kind of, you know, it's kind of selfish.
It's different when you get traded to a team and then you say that when you've been drafted by that team since 2015 and you are promised third base your entire career. I mean, it's a completely different situation.
Wasn't drafted.
Night and day.
It wasn't drafted.
But he got developed by the Red Sox.
Coming to the team. Yeah, you get what I mean, buddy.
Yeah.
You get what I mean. Like, it is a completely different situation. Of course, Bellinger's going to come in and be like, yeah, I'll do whatever I want. He's been traded, 3 times in the last 4 years? I mean, he's
But he has a more
career.
But he's got a better pedigree than Devers has.
I mean, sure, but Devers has been at the Red Sox his entire career, so you can't say. And they promised him third base his entire career.
When did they promise him that?
When Devers signed that $300 million contract, that was a big reason of him signing that contract. He was going to be the third baseman of the Boston Red Sox for the next 10 years. They said him that.
They want him to be the face of the franchise for the next 10 years. Just because he signed to a deal doesn't mean that he's guaranteed to.
Same thing.
It's a whole different thing.
And they let it up for Bregman, who has literally been terrible with his glove this year. Like, his worst year.
It's still a better year than Devers has with a glove at third.
I mean, have you looked at Bregman's numbers this year? He's got the most errors at third, I'm pretty sure. And he hasn't.
Okay, and that's only because Rafael Devers isn't playing third. That's the only reason why he leads the league. Devers has been.
This trade makes zero sense. You got two pitchers who are terrible.
Like if you really wanted to say you could that his leadership pedigree got in the way with the team and you maybe needed to get rid of him or whatever because of that, that's one thing. But I think for me at least, to not get the value that he's worth on the field, because the Giants took his entire $250 million that he's owed in the next 7 years or whatever it is. So clearly they value him. You couldn't get that same value from other teams. That's where I'm lost in this.
Well, I think the reason why the Giants value him is because the Giants can't sign shit for players in the offseason. So they have to take on his contract. How many times have the Giants been left with their Spencer in their hands in free agency? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were like, screw it, we need to get somebody. So, but I don't know. I think he's a distress asset, and he's not doing a lot for the locker room. And you have 3 now rookie players. Your team is very young, right? Like, Toro is young. Navarez is young. That first baseman that I could never, like, I was like, who the fuck is that guy? When I went to the game the other night. Yeah. Rafael, your core 3, your big 3 that just came up. You're a very young team. And if you're going to have somebody who is the veteran, like the longest tenured and veteran presence, throw a pissy fit because the team wants him to play different positions because somebody got hurt. And, we want to try and make sure we can have the best lineup out there. Can you play this position? Can you play first? Can you move to DH? Because we found, we have a better third base glove. And if he's going to be a bitch about it, get him out of the thing before he starts infecting all those younger players and make the younger players start having the same sort of mindset. You don't want to have
that was not a pissy fit. He got his position ripped from him out of nowhere. No,
he didn't deserve to have that. All right.
Yes, he did. Bro.
That leads to my next question.
You can't be that bad at defense and be like, no, this is my position. If he was a Gold Glove, if he was a Matt Chapman or Nolan Arenado type third base player, different story. When you are always bottom of the league in errors and that's the reason why he hasn't won MVP. His glove is so bad that it takes him out of the MVP consideration every year. It isn't close because his glove is a liability.
Exaggeration of talent. If his glove is such a liability, then why has Bregman's glove been shit this year too, bro? It makes no sense. Why would they trade Rafi after it? Dude, I can't believe Mike is actually saying this is a good trade, bro.
He wasn't doing anything for you. He was doing more harm than good for you.
Oh my god. You don't watch the Red Sox, so I can't take what you're saying seriously, but
he does more, dude. All right.
You know why he's saying it's a good trade? I'll tell you exactly why he's saying this is a good trade. He's saying this is a good trade. He's saying this is a good trade because Garrett Cole doesn't have to face Devers anymore.
He has been Mike.
I ain't listening. Hit the ball out of the infield. We can talk about baseball takes, but until then, I ain't listening to your baseball take.
Win a World Series since Obama's rookie year, then I'm not listening to her. This is the same guy who said Trevor Lawrence is the greatest player to lace up ever. The same guy who said trade Marshawn.
You also thought, dude, you thought Red Sox should be first in the AL East, but what the fuck kind of take is that?
2009, bro. You were literally getting your fucking food from Michelle Obama in school last time the Yankees won the World Series, bro. I don't want to hear it, bro. I do not want to hear it, bro. You think Aaron Judge is the greatest right-handed hitter of all time when the clock strikes October, he literally cannot get it. I am Aaron Judge in October, bro. I am Aaron Judge in October.
Okay.
So I got a question for you guys right
In
now.
any case, just trade me.
This is what I was hoping for at the game on Saturday night. Honestly, just a back and forth like this. But anyways, here's my question. Regardless if Rafael Devers was upset that he got his position taken away from him and everything else like that, how much of this falls on ownership and front office at the end of the day? How much of this falls on them?
I'll let you go first, Mike.
I think it's a 50-50. I think it's 50% them and then 50% on Devers and his react. Like yeah, the front office probably should have gone to Devers and but in order, if you think the Red Sox kept Devers 100% out of the dark about what they were going to do this off season with bringing in Bregman, then that's a joke. Of course, again, he might not have been 100% on board with Bregman coming in to play third, but if you're gonna say that he didn't want him, that he wasn't they didn't talk to him at all about different, no way, that's smoking crack. And again, it's one thing where if I don't know, I think it's a little bit like I said, I think it's on both. I think it's on both of them because yeah, Bregman's glove this year hasn't been great, but it's his first year of it not being great, so the numbers are trending trend to be better, that he will be a better defender than Devers was. So that's your better chance of winning. So they went in trying to win. So they did what their best they could. And I don't know. I think like I said, Devers just kind of threw a hissy fit about the whole situation.
I'll let Ben go, and then I'll give my take on
I
it.
think our definition. Sorry.
You're
I think
good.
our definition of hissy fit is just different, bro. I think it's just a pride thing. I think you said 50-50, right? I think it's about 75-25. I'll give 25% on Rafael Devers. Yeah, he could have handled it better when it first came out. But I'm telling you, dude, the Red Sox were not a contender for Bregman until the last second. Alex Bregman, everyone thought Alex Bregman was going to be a Detroit Tiger. Everyone and their fucking mother. And then at last second, the Red Sox came in and got Bregman. So that's why I think Devers has only 25% in this, because I truly think, guys, he did not know that they were going to get Bregman. I don't think the Red Sox knew they were going to get Bregman either, because this was a last-second thing. So I'm giving 75% on management and the baseball operation guys, and then 25% on Devers.
Am I giving my take first, or you got something to rebuttal on that, Mike?
Well, Rafael, will you move to DH or another position if that's what's in the best interest of the team? No. Do you want to do anything to help this team win? No. When that's his opening press conference, that to me is a hissy fit when he does that in public. When you're publicly saying no to doing what's best for the team, you look kind of like a little prissy bitch.
I think I'm good now. I say
that's my rebuttal on about a hissy fit definition.
So here's my answer. I might go 85% on ownership and front office and 15% on Devers. And the reason why I go 85% on ownership is not just because of this. It's because of the last 2 years also. When they extended Devers, they promised him things would change. They promised him that this team would become a championship contender. They promised that they would build around him. And even the 2 years before this one, they didn't do that. And he was already showing frustration in the front office. I mean, hell, can you blame him? You can't really blame him because us fans are saying the same exact thing. Why aren't they spending on marquee free agents? Why aren't they being competitive on these big free agents, making these big trades or whatever? It would make anybody frustrated. So I think the frustration was building and building and building. And then I think with the Bregman situation, again, I don't know how much of a say he had in all of this. I'm sure they approached him at the beginning of the offseason saying, hey, who are some guys that you'd like to see on this team and, like, who would fit or whatever. But I think when they extended him and they promised him third base, and then all of a sudden for Bregman to come here last second and then they say he's the third baseman and then they don't even really ask Devers. They just expect him to move over to DH. I mean, I don't blame him for being frustrated. He could have handled it a lot better than when he did with the press conference and all that, sure. But I don't blame him for being frustrated because it all happened last minute. It all happened out of the blue. He did end up going to DH. He did end up taking a sacrifice for the team, and he was playing great. He was hitting the ball good. He was on pace to have a 4+ WAR this season. He still is. He still is if he's not going to third base over in San Francisco.
They won't because they actually have a platinum glove winner. They will never play third base there.
Okay, so he'll be a 4+ WAR player by the end of the year, which will be one of the best WARs that he's ever had in his entire career. So it's not like he gave up on the team. It's not like that he gave up on Boston and everything else like that. And then they ask him to go over to first base. Like, how much more can you really ask a guy once he's already sacrificed once? I get the frustration, but again, the reaction that he had is where I fault him. He could have approached it in a different manner, but the front office at the end of the day did what they normally do, is the reason why I'm done with this team for a while, and the frustration to Devers grew and grew and grew from the front office and the ownership, and moving him off of third and then asking him to go back on the field, asking him to do all the things was the last straw for him.
Okay, but everything you just said makes the point. No, but everything you just said though makes the point for why it should be more on Devers than on the Sox.
How so?
Why? Because Breswell wasn't the one behind Devers to that deal.
Okay, but it's still on ownership to be willing to put that pen on the paper.
But it was not Breslow that made that deal. That was Chaim Bloom. And Devers wants... If Devers wants to win and is sick of being shit, he should do whatever it takes in order to stop being shitty. Like stop being bottom of the AL East. Right? If he wants to get back in the playoffs and wants to win, he should do whatever it takes. Swallow the fucking pride, go to DH, go to first base, do what needs to be done. It's getting asked by your manager or general manager to do what's best for the team. If you really care about winning, you sacrifice what you need to do to go do what you like to go win. Right? You just said it. He's going to have his best statistical season on his first season where he can't play third base. Right? So his third base is so bad that it brings down his value of play. That's how bad his third base is. And like some of the plays that we saw last night, like Marcel Mayer had great back-to-back rollers to him, like where I think he was in the foul territory for the first one. The second one was him charging. If Devers has that, Devers either A, isn't getting that ball, or B, you and I would have caught that in the fucking stands if Devers was making that play. So that's how bad he is. So you know what? If they ask him, like, hey, can you go play first base? Like, go at least how to play first base. If you can play it well enough, go out there and play. If not, we'll keep you at DH, right? At least he could try. At least he could try to make an effort to win, right? If they said, hey, you know what? We're going to bring somebody who was a Gold Glove finalist every year for third base because your defense is such a liability. Like, either, you know what? Take that as a chip on your shoulder, go be a better third baseman, and try to be better at throwing and not be such a liability. Or you say, you know what, yeah, you're right, my defense does kind of suck. It is a liability out there. You know what, I want to win, so let's do what needs to get done, right? He bitched about not bringing in free agents. They bring in one, and he bitches so much to the media on the first day of spring training media that, like, it sets a bad tone and a bad taste for the rest of the season. So that's mine, like, where I think that it, like you said, that you said owner, like he's bitching into the ownership about wanting to bring in free agents. They bring in free agents and he bitches. You know, he wants to win because he's sick and tired of winning. Okay, do what needs to be done. Go to DH. Go to first base. If you really are sick of losing, you do what needs to be done, and you don't ask questions about it. That's where I think, if anything, it's more on Denver front office.
You through? You good?
Yep, that's my rant.
Okay.
That's my rant.
You just said he sucks on the field.
They go to like,
So
oh
they
yeah,
move-
you go back to first base.
That's what I was just about to say. If you tell a player that he sucks on the field, you move him to DH. He moves to DH, but then you tell him to go to first base. Didn't they say to him at the beginning of the year, "Oh, you suck so bad in the field that we want you at DH"? You just think he's gonna willingly go back on the field after they said he sucks on the field? I wouldn't do that.
Especially after he's been mashing a DH, dude. He's been the best DH in the league by far. Like, what? It makes no sense. I totally hear what you're saying, Jess. If you get called terrible at your job, and then 6 whatever months later they're like, hey, haha, sorry about what we said to you, like blah blah blah. We're gonna need you to come back and do this or do that. Like, you're gonna feel a specific type of way, bro. It's a testament to your character, and that's what it is with Dominican players and foreign players, bro. That shit matters more to them than the fucking $300 million on the check.
Like my thing is like he was against obviously going to DH at first, which at that point we're like, dude, honestly, you're gonna be better off at DH than at third base. They flew to Kansas City to meet with him to say, hey, buy into this role and everything else, and we promise you we're gonna be a winning team with you at DH. He moves over to DH. He says, fine, you know what? I'm going to move to DH. I'm going to do what I do best, and that's hitting. And he takes one for the team at DH. And he's flourished in that role so far. He's flourished in that role because if he didn't buy into that role, he wouldn't be putting up these kinds of numbers right now. No way. No way. And then after all of that, saying like, hey, we think you're better at DH than on the field, basically saying to him, you're not good as a fielder, they go to him and say, hey, now we need you back at first base. I'd feel some sort of way too. I mean, how can you not? That's just my thing.
Well, there's different circumstances. Their first baseman went down, so they're trying to find somebody to fill that role. And Ben, before you keep saying if you American players, I'm going to reach through this punch you because look at Guerrero Jr. Vlad came up a third baseman. He put that down because his third base wasn't good. He went to first. Vlad then was now he's a DH first baseman. Who else? Machado, another one, was a third baseman. Went to go play shortstop because he got traded to the Dodgers, who needed a shortstop in 2018, and then he went back. He went back there. He went back to third. He was a damn good third base. You do what you need to do. It doesn't matter.
Machado went to short because he wanted to play short with Baltimore.
Yeah, and
that wasn't an organizational thing though. He went to short because he wanted to go over the short. Wasn't really that great at short, and then moved back over to third because that was his better position.
Yeah,
so
but
it's his
again,
own decision.
Do you think going back to third was his decision? No, the Padres said we want you to be a third baseman, so he did what the Padres asked him to do.
Devers also did what the Red Sox asked him to do. It went to DH, and then when shit got iffy, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we need you to go back." Like, dude, just think about it. As a human, bro. If someone says, "Hey, you suck at this. Let's move you to another thing," you'd be like, "Okay, it takes a minute to get over it. Put your pride to the side," which is what Devers did. Yes, he had a little bit of I'll call it a tantrum when they first said it. You would too if you found out you were losing your job, and then they go back, hey, let's come back to the field. Like just what Jesse said. It doesn't make any sense, dude. Especially a professional sports team. That's just not how you work.
I don't know. He like that again. You just need to do what needs to get done to win, and he wasn't able to do what needs to be done. Like if they asked him to play first. Like he already made his. It's one thing if he was going into free agency. Like this was a contract year. He already made his money. He doesn't gonna get another contract. He's 36 years old. By the time he will be a career DH at that point because he's not gonna play in position maybe first base, but he's not gonna play third at 36 years old.
It's not about the money for them.
It's all about the money. It's always about money.
Signing a long-term
It's about getting his
deal
family
with
out of what. It's all about zeros.
Yeah, the family wise, not on the field, dude. On the field, I disagree with that, but yeah, even in the end, sure, say Devers was lazy and he's a diva, all this shit. You still don't fucking trade him for a bag of chips, dude. You look, if you're gonna trade Devers, which you should have never traded Devers in the first place because he's your best hitter. You look for the best deal possible, not fucking Kyle Hamilton and Jordan Hicks, who both have 5 ERAs. Yeah, Hamilton's 23. Okay. How have Sox pitching prospects turned out in the past fucking decade? Shit. I was like, what? Oh my god.
Yeah, but he's on a Red Sox. But he's on a Sox pitching prospect. But he's on a Sox pitching prospect.
Terrible. We're terrible at developing pitching talent.
Yeah, but now they have a pitcher. Now they have a pitcher who runs the organization. He's gonna find people. That was his whole thing about coming in. That he was supposed to find pitching prospects to fix them, because he's supposed to know. He's supposed to be the pitcher guru. So he was over in.
It's such a bad deal.
Here's what I'll say. The reason why, listen, I think I'm with Ben on this. If you're gonna trade Devers, you get the best possible deal. But for me, at least, you don't trade your franchise player. The last 5 years, the Red Sox have either traded away their franchise player or let their franchise player walk for nothing and lowballed them in free agency. After getting rid of Mookie Betts, like trading him away, and that deal was god-awful, just like this one here. That trade was awful for the Red Sox. After trading him away, who's going to be one of the best players in baseball history. I'm not saying top 10. I'm just saying like he's going to be on like that top 50 list at the end of it. I know the Xander Bogaerts contract has not worked out for San Diego, but that was a big piece to this Red Sox organization. He was a fan favorite, and he flourished here in Boston. You lowballed him. You let him walk for nothing. You basically gave him a middle finger. You gave Mookie Betts a middle finger because you didn't want to pay him to. And now you just do this to Devers. Like, what are you doing to the fans? That's my statement that I'm having without all this. And that's why you couldn't do this. Because what are you doing to the fans at the end of the day? It's just showing that you don't really care about this team. And you don't care about the fans. By trading away another face of the franchise player. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing for this team.
Yeah, but at least now they have marketable players. They have a whole core. They actually have. It's not like when Mookie Betts you had Bogaerts and Devers, and then Bogaerts now we have his Devers. You actually have marketable pieces. You have a legit player. Like you have a MVP possible candidate in Duran. You have big three prospects that look like they might actually be able to play. Well, two of them, Campbell, Boss. You still have Rafael.
I was just about to say. Wait a minute. I was just about to say.
We're not fucking doing this, Mike.
I was just about to say. You say a big three, but then you say.
Anyways, Bregman will probably opt in, and then you still have these. Navarez looks like he can play. You have Crochet, pieces. It's not like you traded him away, and there's nobody on the team to market. The team is still very marketable, and because they're trading him, you actually can keep Roman Anthony up when Abreu comes back. You now have a spot where Story can move into the DH a few days. Rafael comes in to play shortstop. Duran moves over to center, and Anthony or Abreu play. Either one takes the corner outfield. Like you have a lot more flexibility now that Devers is out of the permanent DH spot. Now you can move players around and keep all your prospects up and make them everyday players. Be what they are. You actually now you can actually do stuff like that other than being, handicapped and handcuffed by Devers unwilling to move around.
See, this might be where I disagree with you because you could have traded off William Abreu and you would have been done with it. That's all you needed to do.
you after this year, you have 4 years of William Abreu, and according to Ben, William Abreu was savior. Like he was the MVP. He was a rookie of the year last year. I still have all those texts saying he's better than Wells and Steele.
Like I haven't heard of that buddy all year. So.
Huh?
Definitely not better than Wells. Wells who got shoved last night and the night before.
I was talking about Wells I don't know. And then there's if Pete Alonso, they can go get Alonso, get another a righty first baseman bat.
They just traded away a $313.5 million guy. You really think they're gonna go over here and sign Pete Alonso to a big contract? I don't think so.
But I'm saying it opens them up to do that. It opens them up to do that.
But you know how this front office runs, and you know how this ownership runs. They're not gonna go out and do that. I mean, they just traded the franchise player in Rafael Devers, who was the biggest.
They only have.
No. They just traded away Rafael Devers, the face of the franchise, who they gave the largest contract in franchise history, and deservingly so. And now you're gonna sit here and say, "Oh, they can go after Pete Alonso." Like that doesn't make any sense to do. It just don't make any sense.
But every single one of their players in the field, except for Story and Bregman next year, are gonna be team control players. Right? Every single every one of the players.
The issue that I have with the team control players, like the rookies and everything else like that, is like now, and I can't stress this one enough, especially now after trading Rafael Devers. Like, sure, he might have been a cancer in the locker room, whatever it is, and everything else, right? But you keep putting pressure on this young core to save a franchise. That's not a good recipe to run a franchise. It's just not. It's not a good recipe. And this trade doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense on a Red Sox standpoint.
That's why you need to keep Devers, too, to kind of, like, have the young guys be able to learn from him more and stuff. Like, that's the thing you needed. That's the thing people are going to overlook in this trade.
I wouldn't want them to learn his character qualities.
Dude, you're acting like he's like fucking Jonathan Papelbon, bro. He got his position taken from him. He was mad about it. He's smiling all the time. It's not like he's walking through the clubhouse fucking dragging his shoulders, dude. Dragging his knuckles, dude. Like, he's not that fucking upset about it, bro.
That's how he was at the beginning of the year.
Okay, exactly. The beginning of the year, spring training, when they signed Bregman out of literally nowhere. They were not contenders to get Bregman until the last second. Like, obviously, he had the pissed, bro.
He had the same mentality when they said, "Hey," when Cassius went down and they said, "Hey, can you go first?" He then started doing the same pouty,
No shit, because they just said you're off the fucking field. It's so simple, dude.
It's not that simple. When you want to win, if you want to win, you do what needs to be done.
I mean, bro, Devers got a fucking ring. Does Judge want to win? Like, dude, Devers has a ring. Okay. Devers wants to win, clearly. Devers paid a bill.
Not really. He doesn't. He doesn't want to win. If he wanted to win, he needs to be done.
I mean, to be fair, he moved to DH.
I think like Devers isn't the best player on the Red Sox. It's the people around Devers that have failed him, bro. Devers has done nothing fucking wrong at all.
Dude,
at all, bro.
I remember this when the Yankees got A-Rod, and A-Rod was very much clearly the better shortstop than Jeter. But you know what A-Rod did? He fucking went to third.
Because he had no choice. Because
it was Jeter's position already.
Jeter's the most overrated shortstop of all time. He had no choice. His ego's bigger than the fucking planet.
And then you know what they did? The Yankees gave him a fucking bag for it. A-Rod's contract was twice as much as Jeter because of the fact that he did what needs to be done to win. He did what they asked him to do. They rewarded him. You know what? Devers has been rewarded with a bunch of money, so what he should have done is done what the franchise asked him to do.
And he did, and he switched to DH, and then
and then he didn't want to switch to first base. Then he didn't want to switch to first base.
The team literally told him that he sucks so much on the field that they're going to move him over the DH. That's basically.
Yeah. But first base and third base are different. At third,
Well,
because he can't throw. He can't throw. You know what you don't have to do at first base? You know what you don't have to do? Throw the ball.
You know what you do
Throw
have
the
to
ball.
do? Field the ball. And he's not good at fielding the ball either, and they told him that.
It wasn't the throwing that was the problem. It was the fielding.
His throwing you every time he picked up the ball, dude. Jesse and I used to joke about how he into the fucking first row of the bleachers. That was a joke, and it's kind of fucking true.
Dude, Mike's just giddy because his daddy is gone.
Giddy?
Is gone.
Dude, I'm pissy. I would have given Spencer Jones for him. I would have actually given you guys a real fucking package.
Dude, Spencer Jones is a bust. I don't want to hear that.
I mean, it's a better prospect than what the Red Sox got for the Giants.
25, the dude just turned 23.
23 and hasn't hit a single at bat in MLB is crazy.
Not really.
It's crazy. Roman Anthony is what, 20, and he.
I think that's how old the outfield prospect is. Yeah, I think he's 23.
It's one thing when you get It's one thing when you get drafted out of high school and you're 23, then not without a major league at bat. It's another thing when you get drafted out of college. It's all different.
Spencer Jones is a bust. I'm just going off the Campbell thing. Spencer Jones is a bust, right? The Red Sox should have never traded Devers. It makes zero sense. No matter how you try to put it, zero sense whatsoever.
Ben, where do you stand on the Red Sox right now? I gotta ask you, because you're the only Sox fan in here.
In totality, like with Devers gone now, or just like as like just the team.
Both.
Yeah. Well, with Devers, it's just even more fun wins because this is probably the greatest stretch of the season so far. They've swept the Yankees, who are playing really good baseball, and Devers had a home run today, and then this is what you do to the fans. I mean, that's just no way. Right when the fans start to get back in it, which is sad itself because we were starting to get back into a 500 team, and then they do this. They trade their best player, who's literally having the best DH season in MLB right now. So my opinion totality on the Red Sox right now is that they don't, until they show that they showed that they cared this offseason when they went out and get.
I was just about to say you were ecstatic after this offseason with this Red Sox team.
We were both ecstatic.
Dude,
I remember calling you when Bregman was signed. You were shocked.
Yes.
And
they go back to square one today.
Yeah, and they don't play like they should. They get the roster that we've been wanting, and then Casas gets injured, Bregman gets injured, and then you trade Devers. Like, I don't think that's not what you should have done. Like, yeah, the season is not going as we planned. Bregman, his injury is bad. Willier's been out. Houck's been out. But trading Devers is not the decision that comes from this. But sadly, we're run by idiots.
Like, I've been sitting here saying to you that this Red Sox team might be one superstar away, again, nobody as good as Aaron Judge right now, obviously.
Judge.
Anyways, nobody as good as Judge right now, but you need that kind of caliber of a player. A superstar like that. They were like one of those players away from being a legitimate championship contender again. And now you just fall back to below mid, in my opinion. Like, this felt like a rebuild move.
I mean, without Devers, who do you fear in this lineup now?
Christian Campbell, as Mike's saying, is a bust. I don't fucking know.
I mean, obviously, there's like the Bregman's when he gets back, Narvaez. I mean, hey, Narvaez has been looking real good. Yankees might have regretted trading him, but that's another topic. But
he was a Rule 5 pick. He was a Rule 5 pick.
I know, but he's killing y'all. But
yeah, but that's not a trade. That's not a trade. That's because
you shouldn't have let him go.
You can only protect so many players. You can only protect 40.
Better than Wells, but it's just sad to see.
Where do you stand on the team?
Man. I mean, I'll still always support the Sox, whether they fucking reek or are winning World Series. But I mean, this Like that. Just imagine being a young fan who your favorite player is Rafael Devers, and now in the morning you have to wake up and find out that he's gone because why? There's no reason. That like as a parent, what do you tell your kid why Rafael Devers got traded?
No.
There's no good
That's
reason.
what happens when you're a poor sport.
Oh my god.
Brother, if you acted the way the Devers did at your job, you would have fired on the first day you acted like that.
Dude, Devers, I just don't know how you can't understand. Like, Devers literally was promised third base his entire career with the Red Sox. And at the clock hit midnight, they signed Bregman with no like, warning to Rafi whatsoever. Like, Jesse can get that, too. He can understand that, like, that is not fair to Rafi whatsoever. I just don't get why you can't understand that, bro. It's so simple.
If you did grounds crew, right?
Yep.
All right. What else if they said, you know what, Ben, you're a little slow. You're not doing it like we found somebody who's gonna do this, but we want you to do something else for us, right?
Right.
If you said no, they would be all right. See ya, right? They wouldn't just be like, oh, okay, yeah, no. Like you can do whatever you want. You can run the show. And then,
I mean, it's just
so then say somebody was on the grounds crew, like, right, so you move off, you're like, all right, whatever, do this other job, and then somebody on the grounds crew then gets hurt, and they say, you know what, Ben, like, we don't have anybody right now, we need you to go back to go do the grounds crew. Are you going to say no? No, you're going to do it as asked of you. You're going to do it as of you in your job.
it's $1 million corporation to a grounds crew, dude. It's completely different, bro.
It's a job. At the end of the day, it's a job.
Yeah,
It's a job that there's a job that 1,000 people in the minor leagues are fighting for that would love his spot. So if he doesn't think he can be replaced, and especially right now, they have so many young players that and the young players are actually playing pretty damn well that they can be, you know what, you're gonna have to take that. See ya. And I think this move is gonna be beneficial. I think this move is gonna help them. Maybe not this season, but long term, this move is gonna help them.
Yeah.
It's gonna help them and their young players.
I strongly disagree. I think this sets them back even further than they already were.
I understand the argument of saying, hey, do what's best for the team when you moved him from third base to DH. Alright, because maybe, yeah, he wasn't that great over there at third base. Maybe he can flourish a little bit more over at DH. And, like,
Right.
yeah, it definitely hurts to hear that. But if you're looking what's best for the team, yeah, that was the move for Devers at that time. And he did that. He went over the DH. But then Costas goes down. And after telling Devers, they didn't say it word for word, obviously, but basically they said to him, hey, you sucked at third base. We got your replacement. We want you to move to DH. After saying that to him, hypothetically, they asked him to go back on the field? Like, I think again, the wording of it was wrong to Devers, and that's why I give ownership and front office most of the blame. I think they handled it poorly, but I think Devers is not innocent completely. But like, you understand where he was coming from, somewhat.
But
Yeah, Devers didn't handle it great. He didn't handle it poorly, that's for sure.
But they didn't know that this first baseman, Gonzalez, right? That's his name.
Yeah, Rome.
I think it's weird because he's like white as a fucking ghost, and his last name is Gonzalez. It throws me the fuck off.
Did you say Adrian
like-
Gonzalez? That would have been funny as shit.
Huh?
I thought you said Adrian Gonzalez. I would have laughed there.
No. I just like his name is Gonzalez, but he's whiter than fucking Casper the Ghost.
That's hilarious.
But it's just one of those where it's
It's a
like,
little like
you didn't know.
Mexican
But when they called him up, or they called up Toro, right? They didn't know that they were going to get players that could bat, close to 300. So you know what? Like, it's one of those where it's like, if Devers can go play first base, at least you know that you have a decent bat there, and you can find like Yoshida is at least a proven bat. Then like it's somebody who could play, or the shoehorn of outfielders where they could bring up Anthony. They could have brought up Anthony a little bit faster, or Mayer a little faster. It's one of those where it's like, at least it's either a top prospect or a proven bat that's playing, that's in the lineup, because Devers is moving, right? They got lucky that Gonzalez and Toro came up and are batting the way they did. If they came up and are batting low hundred, or no, I mean like high hundreds, low 200, this team is nowhere near where it is right now.
Last year,
they're getting lucky.
Last year, Romy Gonzalez batted
play.
266 in 89
266?
games. Yes.
Okay. Again,
So you knew what the kind of hitter he was.
And how many plate appearances was that? Did he play the full season, or did he only play in September?
He played 89 games. He had basically 200 at bats. No, it was my bad. He had 216 plate appearances, 199 at bats. So that's a big sample size.
That's a third of the season. That's less than a third of the season.
He's a good player. He's a very clutch player.
That's half the season. No, that's more than half.
I have a question for you,
600,
Jesse.
but 550 to 600 at bats is a full.
I have a question for you, Jesse.
Yeah.
So now Rafi's back in your division.
Oh, I know.
How do you feel about that?
I'm pissed. I hate you guys even more now.
Now you gotta face.
I hate you guys even more now. No, it hurt us. The hell are you doing? You're supposed to send him over to San Diego, not to San Francisco. Come on now. What are you? Come on. If I known you guys were gonna give him up, I would have given you guys Jay Cronenworth.
Nah, Red Sox would have declined that. Cronenworth is too good of a.
They want pitching though. That was the thing. They didn't want players. They have enough players. They have a plethora of players right now. They need pitching.
Okay, you could hold on. I gotta look at the Padres roster. Hold on one second.
Robert Suarez after we hyped him up the other day that he blew the game for y'all.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get over this.
Quick. We talked about that 7-0 run. It's crazy.
Dude, you missed it too. You missed it too. Jesse and I were hyping him up. We were talking about him earlier that day too. And like, oh, he's a pretty good bullpen piece. Like Jesse's like, oh yeah, he's like one of the 4 pieces that the Padres need to re-sign. And then literally just blows the game like a couple hours later.
Crazy. Let me look up these pictures. Oh my god! Now that I'm looking at it, hey man, we could have gave you guys Nick Pivetta back.
Fuck no, dude would go back to a 5 ERA.
We'll give you back. We'll give you. They would have given you Mike King.
Oh nah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, hey, Nick Pivetta right now has a 3.4 ERA, so that would have been alone better than the return you got for him.
Dude, if we got Michael King in return, I still would have been pissed about the Devers trade, but it would have been a hell of a lot better than fucking Kyle Hamilton and fucking Jordan Hicks, dude.
No, Red Sox got absolutely fleeced.
Title stash, bro. Like, Jesus Christ.
Red Sox for sure got absolutely fleeced.
Again, though, I don't know. Like, I'm sure we'll find the next coming days if there was any other packages, but I don't know what they would. I don't think they had any other shooters calling.
That's why they shouldn't have traded him. They
What do
saw
you
the
mean?
first offer and they're like, all right.
I don't know if it was their first offer. I think that might have been their only offer because of the fact that nobody else was looking to get them.
Who wouldn't want the best DH in the league this year?
I think Shohei Ohtani. I'm oversaying that. I think Shohei Ohtani would say a little bit different about that one.
Okay, Ohtani's a fucking anomaly. Ohtani's the best player in the game.
Yeah, don't know about that one.
Don't even say who I think you're about to say. You have to show up in October to be the best.
Mike's like, I'm trying to stay quiet.
If that's the case, then I guess that's more Freddie Freeman than him, but sure.
Shit, if you want to bring up Freddie Freeman, I didn't think you wanted to give yourself PTSD, but shoot.
No, but I think Freddie Freeman carried a little bit more of that postseason than Ohtani. I don't think Ohtani really showed up that well.
I mean, Otani shot better than Judge, that's for sure. And mind you, Otani was playing injured 3 out of 5 games. Playing injured on that slide, game 2 in LA. But
All right, I think that's gonna about do it for this one. Holy crap, 50 minutes long. I knew this one was gonna be a while because obviously we have Ben, who's a Sox fan, on here grieving, feeling bad for him right now because diehard Sox fan who's hoping that this team could become World Series contenders this year at the beginning of the year. Now all of a sudden has flipped an entire 180 because of this trade. Mike's over here obviously smiling because now he doesn't have to face him in his division. He's no longer Garrett Cole's dad or whatever because now he's over in the West. Now I have to fucking deal with him. That's fucking great. So,
Raffy Scoop.
yeah, now I got to deal with them in San Francisco, who are ahead of us in the division. That is funny for me because I know the front office is what it is, and I've been trying to tell people this, and they haven't really believed in it. Hopefully, this opens their eyes, but now at the same time, this hurts me as well. So, the only one I think who wins here is Mike. I think he's the only one who wins here. So that's
I'm telling you, next off season, he gets traded to the Yankees. Watch out.
Dude, you're smoking.
Wait a minute. Time out. I was going to end this podcast, but now the fact that he's saying to the Yankees, I thought you said nobody wanted him.
Yeah, right?
Hey, you know what? Like I said, when he goes over to San Fran and he starts balling out and maybe he changes his that fucking poor, you never know.
This kid literally just said, who wants a pouty face? And he goes, watch next year, Devers, Yankees. Delusion Yankee fans at their finest.
Next, I think Devers actually will come here and do what needs to be done to win.
I'm gonna go drown
He'd be
my
pissed
car with
off.
vodka.
Oh, I feel bad for Ben. I really feel bad for him. But that's going to do it for this podcast here, guys. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe now if you guys new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. Links in the description down below. Might have to take off some Red Sox games off my list of games to do this offseason now after that. But here I am. I stand right again. And for the third time in the last 5 years, the Red Sox basically get rid of their franchise player. And I feel bad for all you diehard Red Sox fans out there. That's the moral story at the end of the day. So, until the next one, it's been your boy Jesse.
Been Mike.
And Ben.
And we're out of here. See you later.
Peace.
Beantown.
Beantown.
Beantown.